Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz with the fourth part of my cEDH Masterclass mini-series. And today I'm going to break down why perfect information is bad for the progress of a game and how gaining access to hidden information and strategically revealing or concealing that information can help you win more games. Telepathy is a card that I see from time to time, but very often played by people who just stepped into the format and are trying to gain an advantage by having more open information. At first, you'd think that having more open information is a good thing, because you can make more informed decisions, avoid running into interaction, politic more efficiently, and all the while keep your own information hidden. Win, 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 right? Well, unfortunately that proves to not be the case, and anyone who's played a game with an early telepathy in it pretty much knows. Instead of people making more informed decisions and politicking with each other more efficiently, the game slows down significantly and sometimes even comes to a complete halt, where it's just draw-go from the three affected players. But why is that? Well, having too much information leads to a phenomenon called analysis paralysis, decision paralysis, or just simply overthinking. When 3/4 of all hidden information is revealed to all players, nobody will take a significant game action in an attempt to not run into whatever interaction or removal might be revealed. Also, you don't want to be the player to draw out interaction when a player behind you is able to threaten an undisrupted win afterwards. Additionally, in an attempt to not have your win or value line disrupted, you'll need a prolonged setup, so way to draw into more interaction or slowly build towards a specific board state in an attempt to not have your lines disrupted. Well, the longer the game goes in this state of revealed information, the more it digresses into a Mexican standoff where the first person to make the wrong move might unintentionally kingmake whoever is next in turn order. Slowly but surely this can lead to a game state where none of the affected players takes any game actions and instead will focus on the player whose information is not revealed. That player will now not only be the pacemaker of the game but also the main target for everyone else. So all players having perfect information is actually very bad for the progression of a game, and if you don't believe me, I suggest you play a game of Uno with everyone's cards revealed on the table like I do with my son. It fundamentally changes the dynamics of the game in a way that only a 4-year-old could really enjoy. Anyway, for us cEDH players, this just means that in order for the game to progress normally, hidden information is necessary, so that people sometimes take risks, run into interaction, draw out interaction, and open up or close windows for themselves or other players. This leads us to two of the very few cards that provide hidden information to other players in cEDH: Opposition Agent and Gitaxian Probe. Both allow you to look at one opponent's hand, and in the case of Oppo, you also get to look at their deck in order to understand which lines and combos they play. So, after successfully resolving either one, you get access to hidden information two other players don't have access to, and usually you will hear something like, "Do you want to reveal what they have in their hand?" or "Is there something we should know about?" from those two players. Both questions are absolutely reasonable to ask, and it makes sense for the other players to want to know that information, but how do you now use that information in the most optimal way? Quick reminder. The rules state that if you are allowed to look at hidden information, you are also allowed to verbally announce what you saw. You are not allowed to show the cards. However, the player whose hand you saw is at any point of the game allowed to either verbally announce or physically show the cards in their hand. But more on that later. Alright, we have gained access to hidden information, but what do we do with it now? When do we conceal information and when do we reveal information? Let me break it down a little bit. If your opponent has a win in hand, or a line that translates into a win, then concealing that information from your other opponents might lead to them tapping out to develop their game, not holding up interaction and putting that burden on you to stop the player from winning. Revealing that information to your other opponents might lead to them holding up interaction to stop that player's win attempt, or, if there is a reason to assume very little interaction is left in the pot, it could also lead to another opponent pushing for the win before that player can. If your opponent has interaction or removal in hand, then concealing that information from your other opponents might lead to them blindly run into that interaction, spoiling their game plan and opening up a better window for you to develop or go off. Revealing that information to your other opponents might lead to them not rushing a win attempt, which gives you more time to properly develop your game. However, this revealed interaction can also lead to priority pressuring in a counter war. If your opponent has no impactful cards in hand, then concealing that information from your other opponents allows you to bluff that the player has a win or multiple pieces of interaction, when they actually don't, giving you the option to deceive your other opponents in a way you think benefits you most. Revealing that information to your other opponents, however, might lead to them not being concerned with that player's hand, allowing them to pressure for a win more safely. So, in short, if you view this as a kind of flowchart or table, you can now make a more strategic decision about what to do with the hidden information you gained access to, based on what's in your opponent's hands and in which direction you want the game to go. Now, let's quickly revisit the fact that you are technically allowed to reveal your own hidden information, or the cards in your hand, to the pot at any time. This can actually be used to gain an advantage by politicking and/or disrupting other players' attempts to deceive their opponents after resolving an oppo or git probe on you. However, when you verbally or physically reveal information, always keep this in mind. A. Only reveal information extremely sparingly and only if absolutely necessary, like if someone is attempting to prior pressure you into using a counterspell, but yours does not deal with a threat on the stack. B. When doing that, make sure to stay as vague as possible. For example, you might say that you have a narrow counterspell, but not which one specifically, so that could be a red elemental blast, a strict serenade, or a miscast. Personally, I only ever vaguely indicate hidden information and leave the rest up to my opponent's willingness to take risks and/or to trust me. C. Never physically reveal all of your cards. In fact, I personally think you should almost never reveal any of your cards, especially when you're pressured to do so. There might be some niche scenarios where it is an advantage for you to show your hand, like when you know something your opponents don't, or when you are revealing only some of the cards in your hand in an attempt to deceive them into thinking that you aren't a threat or don't have interaction. But almost never is it a good idea to reveal your whole hand or the majority of your cards to your opponents. Okay, so to summarize, keep in mind that hidden information is necessary for the game to progress naturally. It doesn't matter if you are the one who git probed or the one who got git probed. Never reveal all the information you gained access to. Stay vague with your statements and reveal or conceal information strategically in order to allow the game to progress in a favorable way for you. And that's it. I hope you could learn something today. If you want to weigh in or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to also like, share and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching my videos. This is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.